Good afternoon, I'm Ben Seymour of Kudzu Patch Productions, and this afternoon I'm going to bring you a tune on a recently restored instrument. This is built by Atwell Suddreth, and he was from Lenore, North Carolina, passed away several years ago, I believe. And anyhow, it's a very nicely crafted instrument. The back and sides are walnut, the top is wormy chestnut, and it's built after a pattern. Obviously this is very similar to, or it would be the North Carolina pattern, I suppose, very similar pattern to what was used by Clifford Glenn, and so it has that same kind of basic shape. It needed some work. It had some cracks in the top and stuff, and on the back, and I've repaired all of those. And then also the end up here, it was level with the fretboard, and that I see on a lot of older dulcimers. And because it was on the same plane as the rest of the fretboard and not lower, then there's only so low that you can go with the action on that. So I trimmed that off and then put a new bridge on there and brought it all down. On the end, there were guitar pins that kind of held the strings in place, and they were real crowded and didn't fit exactly where the strings needed to be. It was awkward to get the strings back up over. So I took those off, repaired the end block here, put in some little pins, end pins for the strings, and that seems to work a lot better. Plus I changed out the tuners. It had those kind of really bad old black tension tuners that you used to find on dulcimers, and those just don't work too well. Sometimes they work pretty well when they're brand new, but after a little bit of use they begin to wear and you can't get them tight again. So anyhow, but this is the instrument, and I'm going to play a tune on this. The only thing about this, one last word about it, is it was really curious because it's so well built, except the sound holes are pretty rustic, pretty rough, and not shaped real well. And I find that kind of curious because the rest of it is done so well, and I just thought that was a bit odd. But anyhow, here it is, and this came to me by way of St. John in the Wilderness Episcopal Church up in East Flat Rock, North Carolina, and or Flat Rock, North Carolina, sorry. And anyhow, it's kind of a small world because that was the same church that many years ago, when my wife and I ran Ginger Thistle's stained glass studio, we replaced a lot of the windows in the sanctuary part of that church. And then someone had found me and said, we want to sell this dulcimer, and so I ended up buying it. I tried to sell it for them and nobody wanted it, so I repaired it, and it's a great sounding instrument. And so I'm going to bring you a tune on it now, and I'll bring you a hymn. This is Holy Manna. It's also sometimes known as Crown His Head with Every Blessing, or with Endless Blessing. Sorry. Here we go. Intonation on this one is excellent up until about the 7th fret. The second octave gets a little funky, and I decided not to refret it. I redid all the frets though, but I didn't change the fret scale. Let's see, I'll bring you another one too. This is a tune that I learned, Scottish tune, and it was called Banks of the Bann. But it's also known as Lord of All Hopefulness, and also Be Thou My Vision. And it's been used as those hymns. So here is Banks of the Bann. Be Thou My Vision, or Lord of All Hopefulness, and also known as Banks of the Bann. I hope you enjoyed that, and here it is on the Atwell Suddreth restored Dulcimer, and I'll see you again soon. And you can always come visit us at www.kudzupatch.net. Hope you have a good day and a good week. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.